Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. You know we love to take these deep dives into listener submissions.
Right.
And today we're going to look at a topic that I'm sure you think about all the time,
Mm.
and that's parenting.
Of course.
You submitted some really insightful writing about
Mm.
what it means to be a good parent and how to raise kids. And I have to say, one of the things that really struck me was this idea of trust being an invisible rope.
Mm. That's powerful.
It's a great analogy, right?
Yeah, it
And
is.
so I kind of want to use that as a jumping off point
Okay.
to dive into everything that you wrote. But before we get too far, I think it's worth pointing out that you mentioned something at the beginning that I think a lot of parents struggle with. And that's that if we as parents don't even know what success means,
Yeah.
how can we teach our kids to be successful? It's like we're all told to climb this ladder, but no one's sure where the top is, or even if there is a top.
That's such a good point. And maybe
Yeah.
that's the problem right there, you know? This whole idea that it's all about climbing this ladder of success, you know? Maybe we need to shift our thinking
Yeah.
away from just focusing on achievements and accolades,
Okay.
you know, those external markers of success, and instead think about what are the tools that our kids are going to need to navigate the world, whatever terrain they find themselves in. It's about equipping them for the journey.
So what tools are we talking about?
Well, you actually mentioned a lot of them in your writing. You talked about morality, you know, this idea of raising kids who are ethical.
Right.
And then resilience,
Mhm.
you know, the ability to bounce back from failures
Yeah.
and setbacks.
So important.
And empathy, you know, really being able to understand and connect with others.
Emotional intelligence.
Exactly. These are the things that ultimately are going to lead to a more fulfilling life.
Right.
And you know what's interesting is all of these things actually tie back to that invisible rope of trust.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, think about it this way. When we have that strong foundation of trust with our kids, it gives them the space to explore, to make mistakes, to figure things out,
Yeah.
all while knowing that they have this safe and secure base to come back to.
Not about control, then.
It's not about control.
It's about providing that support system.
Exactly. It's like a safety net. But it also allows them to take risks.
I like that.
Yeah.
And, you talked about making mistakes. And I think one of the most surprising things in your writing was that you said that we should share our own failures with our children.
Oh, yeah.
And at first I was like, wait a minute, really?
I know it sounds counterintuitive, right?
But the more I thought about it, the more I realized how powerful that could be to model that resilience.
It's not about burdening them with all of our problems.
Right.
Right? Or like dwelling on our past mistakes. It's just about showing them that, hey, everybody messes up. Everybody makes mistakes.
Everyone stumbles.
Right. And it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know, failure is just part of the journey.
And kids are always watching.
Always watching.
And so when they see us handle our setbacks with grace and determination, it teaches them how to do the same.
It's like modeling good behavior.
Exactly. So it's less about lecturing and more about demonstrating.
I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah. Just showing them.
Showing them that it's okay to be vulnerable, that it's okay to ask for help, to pick yourself back up and try again.
It's so important. And you know what that vulnerability does?
What's that?
It creates a space for them to open up about their own struggles.
Oh, that's interesting.
Think about it. If your kid knows that you've been through something similar, they're much more likely to come to you when they're facing a challenge.
Oh, I see what you mean. It builds that bridge of understanding.
Exactly. It creates this sense of we're in this together.
We're a team.
Right?
But, we're also raising kids in a world that often feels very different from that.
Oh, absolutely.
It feels like a world that's obsessed with, profit-driven machines, as you put it in your writing.
Right. This very individualistic kind of mindset.
So how do we balance that with raising kids who are empathetic, who are collaborative?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, I think it requires us to be really intentional about the values that we're instilling. It's not enough to just focus on the traditional academic skills. We have to actively cultivate those qualities of empathy,
Yeah.
collaboration, emotional intelligence.
Because those are the things that are going to help them build meaningful relationships,
Yes.
to contribute to something bigger than themselves.
And ultimately to find joy in the process, right? It's not just about the destination, it's about the journey.
And it's about acknowledging that the world they're inheriting is different from the world we grew up in.
Oh, absolutely. The rules have changed.
So the old metrics of success might not apply anymore.
And that can be a hard thing for us to wrap our heads around sometimes.
It is.
But it's the reality. This generation is asking why a lot more than we ever did.
They are.
And they deserve answers that go beyond because I said so.
Which is why I think that point you made about open communication is so important.
Yep.
It's not about just dictating our values to them.
Right.
It's about engaging in dialogue,
Mm.
being open to their perspectives,
Hmm.
and adapting as the world changes.
I think it's about creating a home where everyone feels safe to express their opinions, their dreams, their doubts even,
Especially as they become teenagers.
especially as teenagers.
And they're trying to figure out who they are and what they believe.
That sense of respect and open communication becomes even more crucial.
It all comes back to that invisible rope, the foundation of trust and love and respect that allows them to really thrive.
And thriving is so much more than just external accomplishments.
What do you mean?
It's about finding fulfillment,
Hmm.
purpose connection. It's about navigating life's challenges with resilience, with compassion.
So it's a much bigger picture
It's a much bigger picture.
than just, did they get into the right college or
Yeah.
did they get the right job?
Yeah,
It's about how are they going to live their lives.
exactly.
So I guess the question for all of you listening is, what does thriving look like for
Yeah.
your family?
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves.
It is.
And hopefully this deep dive has given you some things to think about.
I think so. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive. Bye, everyone.
Bye.